just check the mathematics, see what this added value really means. So I took a town that I happen to have, it's not my own town, but a town that I happen to have a nice little property tax map, that I had grand list information, I knew the mill rate. I said, well, let's just play around with this. Let's just pretend that this 52-acre parcel in the middle here just became open space. What would happen to those 119 parcels that are within a quarter of a mile, not a half a mile or a third of a mile, a quarter of a mile away? Before this parcel was protected, and I'm pretending that it's going to go off the tax roll, this property is paying $3,700 in taxes. All the rest of them within this green paying another $204,000. So that's $207,000 and change that those taxes are bringing those properties are bringing into the town. So John Crompton said contiguous properties are 20% higher. I'm a very conservative person. You don't go through MBA in finance without being conservative. I'm going to say 5%. He says 20, I'll say 5%. Next one's out, I said, all right, those are 3%, and the rest of them are just a 1% increase. Hardly any increase. Let's see what happens.
You're talking tax dollars?
Tax dollars.
5% in tax dollars. Okay.
Yep, yep. So before it's 207,000. After the open space is now bringing in zero, but the rest are bringing in because they now have an increased assessed value. Basically, the town is broken even, only because there's open space there now. Let's look at some actual conservation subdivisions. This is one of the first ones in our area, Truman Meadows over in Coventry. It is an award-winning design. The houses are right in the edge of the woods there. This is the site. There's a lot of state land around it. The Skunkamog River. I love the names of some of our rivers and roads out here. The Skunkamog River runs through. Zooming in a little bit, it's 25 acres. And this was at a time when Coventry had 1 acre minimum lot size. What they were able to do was to get 14 house lots in here, and they are smaller than an acre. I think the largest is a little bit over an acre, and the smallest I think is about 3/4 of an acre. They protected all the area around it. And these are some of the homes that are there. They're not as close to get, that's foreshortened by camera, they're not as close as they look right there. And I call this a successful conservation subdivision because the environment was protected, the wetlands were preserved, a little community was created, and it's valued by buyers. I say it's valued by buyers because when this one was built, the average lot size for a 2-acre lot, 2-acre building lot in Coventry was around $30,000, $35,000. These lots went for $70,000.
Just the lot.
Just the lot. So that's how I say they're valued by buyers, because people will pay more for them.
And don't forget the turtles.
And the turtles. Yes, that protected turtles. There's another one up in Woodstock on Route 197. It's an area of Woodstock that has an awful lot of co-occurring resources. A lot of very valuable resources are all in the same area. It's a high forest priority for Woodstock, and it's a significant wildlife corridor. This is 197 through here. You can see all this water through here. Wildlife move up and down riparian corridors, so that's a significant wildlife corridor for them. So this is a 32-acre parcel right on 197. And this is easily what could have been developed there. I think there's 14 and 14 lots. So when you drove down the road, you'd see 4 houses, and all the land would be developed. And this is what they ended up developing. Still 14 lots, which sold for, the lot sold very nicely. the land around the parcel, land around here is all protected. There's 13.6 acres that are protected here. They created another area right in here that's like a common, and it's almost 3 acres. It's a common. So it's kind of living like we did back in the old days around the town center, town common. There's another one very similar to that in terms of being on a common, and that's up in Westford, Massachusetts. And this is a road that the big circle at the end. This is all protected open space in the middle, but it's a community center. I was here on 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon in the hall. I'd like to see this on a Saturday morning. I saw some hockey equipment or some football equipment out in here, and some soccer nets. My guess is all the neighborhood kids are in there playing together, which is really making a nice community. This one also has, right over here, this trail to go all the way around and come back over on this side. Beautiful homes. When you're in one of those homes, you'd never know that there's someone right next to you. Your backyard is woods, and your front yard is this great big open common area. This is another parcel up in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. And the original plan that was submitted to the town and was approved by the town was to create all these lots. Some lots in here, some lots here, some lots over here, some more lots over here. And this in here would be 31 area of open space, 31 acres of open space. Well, the developer started looking at it and saying, this area up in here, I've got all these wetlands. I'm going to have to put a road through there. It's all that permitting process through the wetlands. It's going to take forever. He then just went back to the town and said, is it okay if I give you 21 more acres and not develop that? The reason he did that is it's going to be more profitable for him. He has no wetlands issues. He has 3 more lots that are now on prime open space. They'll sell for a lot more, especially up in Hopkinton. And he got tax credits for donating the open space land. So it's far more profitable for the developer. One of the arguments I hear sometimes on conservation subdivisions is the developers don't make money because the lots are smaller. They make a lot more money. They're doing fine. This is one down in Madison. It's down, that's River Road and Hammonasset River. The parcel's right here in the middle. It's almost 30 acres. And this one is kind of an interesting story. This particular area, there is water already service here. The others, none of them have water sewer service that I showed you before. This one does have water service here. The developer, back in the mid-'80s, this is an old development, back in the mid-'80s, the developer from Long Island went to the Madison Planning and Zoning Commission and said, I have this parcel right here. This area obviously is very environmentally sensitive. It's lowlands right on the marshy river. This is a horse farm. Everybody that drives up and down River Road just sees this beautiful horse farm. He said, what I could just take that horse farm and put 30 houses in the horse farm with your regulations, but I don't want to do that. Can I please do an open space conservation cluster subdivision? And this was in '85. The commission said, oh, what? Because nobody was doing those. He was doing them on Long Island. So he talked them into letting him do a conservation subdivision here. So that's the horse farm and the environmentally sensitive marshy area. He wanted to build right in the center. And that's what he did. And these are some of the homes that he built. The homeowners association owns the horse farm and rents it out. So they still pay taxes on the horse farm and they collect revenue. And this is what it looks like there. You'll notice it's a very narrow roadway. These houses are sitting almost right on the road. It's so much like a community. I've been down in there 2 or 3, 4 times, I think. Every time I've gone down, no matter what day of the week, people are out walking around, they're washing their car, they're talking to each other. You know your neighbor in this subdivision. And one day I started looking at that picture and I said, "Look, it just looks so familiar." It was a picture I took. I just started thinking about a photograph that one of my colleagues uses in a presentation. And like, these two look so similar. And the only difference is about 200 years. This is Thompson, one of the old neighborhoods in Thompson, Connecticut. And this is from 1985. Yes?
I happen to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission in Madison.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'm very familiar with this. And not only that, but the open space, they utilize it for open activities. They have a gazebo there,
cool.
It's on the water, and they have walking spaces even for dogs, and it's just wonderful. People gather
good.
around those areas.
Were you on the commission when it came before the commission?
No, but now we call it smart growth, and that's basically all that's going in. We don't do, sometimes you have to do it, but basically
Yeah.
we don't do traditional subdivision.
Yeah. So you live in Madison?
Yes,
Why are you here?
representing a client.
Ah.
For a subdivision.
Ah.
But that's different.
That's different.
And it's not an open space subdivision.
So I, again, call this one a successful conservation subdivision, as do you, I guess. The environment's protected, the rural landscape is preserved, and a real community is created there.